and welcome to another lecture of the course Aquaculture. Today we are going to discuss about status and prospects of mariculture. Mariculture, as we know, refers to the cultivation of marine organisms. When marine organisms are cultivated in the confined environment, then or enclosed environment, then it may be called as mariculture. The purpose may be for the purpose of getting human food, for the purpose of various other products, pharmaceuticals, food additives, jewelry, like in case of cultured pearls when we are doing, nutraceuticals, cosmetics, whatever your purpose is, if you are going to raise marine organisms in controlled environment, then it should be called as mariculture. Now, mariculture can be done in diverse environments where marine water is available. Marine water is available in the open ocean, the nearshore regions, estuaries, lagoons, backwaters, coastal ponds. If you are cultivating marine organisms in any of the aquatic systems where marine water is there, marine organisms are being raised, then it will be called as mariculture. It can be done in natural marine environment or in controlled settings like cages, ponds, raceways, either on land or in the sea. So, the main idea is that marine organisms are being cultivated. Where you are cultivating on land or within the open ocean or whatever setting, that is your choice. A diverse array of species, in fact, whatever marine organism is of interest to you, you can go for fishes, fin fishes, you can go for shellfish species, you can go for seaweeds, mollusks. I mean, any organism or for that matter, algae or marine plants that you can raise, that will be considered as mariculture activity. Globally, marine capture as well as mariculture produces a lot of biomass for direct and indirect human consumption. Presently, mariculture significantly contributes to global food production at about 37% of the world's total aquaculture production. So, although mariculture is contributing little less in compared to inland aquaculture, but variety of species and the diverse environments that is being utilized for mariculture, that is commendable, and this sector is showing a lot of potential where very fast growth can be expected in the coming years, because inland aquaculture is now showing rather slow pace of growth because we have utilized most of the inland resources for aquaculture, and but marine resources for aquaculture, or for, you can call that as for mariculture, we have not utilized the potential resources fully. So that can be done. Globally, aquaculture has emerged. We all know that how the growth rate, in fact, here you can see that more than 6% of growth rate has been encountered in last 2 decades. And if you talk about aquaculture growth as a food production system in general, then for last few decades, aquaculture has shown tremendous growth. Of the total production, this is interesting, of aquatic animals in 2022, 62%, that comes to about 115 million tons, 115 million tons, was harvested from marine areas. This includes both capture as well as culture. So, 69% of it was from capture and 31% of the total 115 million tons was from mariculture or from marine aquaculture. So, that is a significant contribution, that is huge quantity, 115 million tons of probably 185 million tons is the total. That is huge contribution from marine sources. This is more clear in the table of Sophia FAO 2024. We have talked about this document earlier also. Here you can see that capture fisheries from inland regions is contributing only about 11, but capture production from marine areas is notable. So 79.7, or you can say 80 million tons is being contributed by marine capture. That is huge. Of the 91 million tons, about 80 million tons is from marine capture. But in aquaculture, inland regions take a lead with about 59%, more than 59%, and marine sector is contributing 35.3 million tons. So, of the total 94 million tons produced through aquaculture, mariculture is producing 35.3 million tons. Of the total 185 million tons, if you see the contribution from the marine sector through capture as well as through culture, if you can add up this, then again this is significant. About 80 you can say, and plus 35, then it comes to 110 million tons out of 185 million tons. That is huge quantity being provided through a marine sector. So, although inland aquaculture has shown tremendous growth, but in terms of quantity, in terms of percent contribution to the total fish production, marine areas have significant lead. World inland aquaculture and marine and coastal aquaculture production by region and main species groups. This is again these two slides I could have shown you in my early lectures on aquaculture as a food production system, but they are very relevant here also. In inland aquaculture, see, in inland aquaculture the major contribution is of fin fishes, 89.7, close to 90%. So, almost all is being contributed by fin fishes, followed by a major chunk of crustaceans. So, for rest there is almost no space. So, 89.7, 90% is from fin fishes, then crustaceans 8.7%. Here in case of marine production, these are aquaculture from marine regions. Here fin fishes contribute only 24.3%, and the major contribution among aquatic animals, marine animals, is from mollusks, 52.9%. So, among all the animals which are being raised in marine environment through mariculture, mollusks are contributing significantly, followed by fin fishes and then crustaceans. So, and here we are not discussing the contribution of seaweeds, they have huge contribution. We are discussing here only about the animals which are contributing. So, and that is the overall contribution that we have discussed earlier. In capture fisheries production, in fact, we still have a lot of scope that we can, if we take care of the sustainable exploitation of the fishery resources from our marine environment, we can show good growth. But here you can see that China, in fact, in 1980s was having only 3,819 million tons. And 1,000 tons, sorry, they have shown it in 1,000 tons, 3,819,000 tons, and now it is having 11,819,000 tons. So, they have shown quite good growth, and but after, you can see, after 2019 or so, the growth is almost stagnated. India is at the position 7th position in capture fisheries production, and here in marine areas especially. In 1980s, we were producing 1,685,000 tons. That increased to 2,602. But in the year 2021, the increase was 3,145. In 2022, it has increased to 3,597, but we still have many resources which if we um, follow the sustainable strategies, then we can produce more through capture production also in marine areas. The marine capture fisheries scenario reveals that 80% of the total fish stocks are fully exploited. That is a major area of concern, that when we go on exploiting a particular target fishery resource, then we just don't care about the population, that how it is going to behave in future. We irrationally exploit that resource, and that thing we have done. More than 80% of the world's fish stocks, for which capture fisheries data you are having, is fully exploited. And that is because of the paucity of information or unavailability of the information regarding basic biological parameters or that are required for devising fisheries management, scientifically sound fisheries management policies that should be done on routine basis to produce the required data in utilizable form. Due to the larger dependency on inshore fisheries over the years, the production from inshore waters has reached asymptotic level. That is what is reflecting. We are whatever we are producing mainly through inshore waters. Here it is written inshore fisheries, and we need to diversify the utilization of the marine resources, and diversify the number of species that can be exploited and raised in mariculture also. So that kind of policies should be made, and policies should be based on scientifically sound management strategies. And to devise scientifically sound management strategy and ultimately any policy or regulations, we need to have precise data on many basic biological parameters. I can tell you one thing, that in case of population characteristics or population parameters, when we are studying in natural resources, we need to have basic information on age. I'm just giving you an example. And while recording age estimate from the fishes from natural environment, we often rely on whatever aging structure is available. We collect the data and report that age, and or else we collect the data of length and frequency and we report the age. No, that is not valid. That is not reliable every time. In fact, although in case of fishes, if you are collecting hard anatomical structures like cartilages, scales, and other aging structures that I have explained in my age and growth lecture, even if you are collecting from one individual fish, they may show variation in age reading. All of them are of the same age. They should show their age correctly. Same age should be shown in the form of rings, light and dark zone. I told you that annuli, number of annuli from any hard anatomical structure of the same fish should be same, but that is not the case. That differs because our preparation and processing of the aging structure methodology or protocol, that varies, and we may get variation in our age readings. And if we utilize such age readings, flawed age readings which are not correct, and start doing stock assessment and start calculating many of life stage based characteristics which are related to age, like age at first maturity or any other thing, or age structure we prepare, then ultimately whatever fishing policy or whatever policy to manage that fishery in a selected region will not give any positive result. That will be flawed, and ultimately that fishery may show collapse. That may collapse. So that we should keep into account, that we have to update and produce new information wherever it is required. new basic biological data. Mariculture has immense potential in India. In fact, mariculture has immense potential in any place where it is not being exploited to what we are expecting. India is having huge, resources that we will discuss in the later slides. How mariculture is being undertaken in other countries? You know that one thing which is to be happy about, that Asia as a region is leading in all the aquaculture and fisheries activities. And in Asia, it is in fact China which has major share in almost every segment of aquaculture and fisheries. So China, Japan, Philippines and many other countries, there are certain countries in Europe also which are doing very good in mariculture, and the type of species being produced in mariculture, that differs from one region to the other. The world's largest producer of mariculture products is China, and this is a leader since 2000. And China's mariculture production includes shellfishes, seaweeds, echinoderms, crustaceans, and some finfish species. Finfishes do not dominate. Almost in every mariculture doing country, if you analyze, then majority is of other species like seaweeds, mollusks, and then crustaceans. Finfish, they do not use in mariculture to that extent. Japan also, that produces bivalves, at very high quantity. Now, what about our country, India? We are blessed with huge resources, and here there are some more points about the other countries. In terms of quantity, marine mollusk production in China, we are not discussing here of India. From the next slide, we will discuss the status of India, status and prospects. In China, by far, mollusk production outweighs that of all other producers combined. If you combine mollusk production from all the countries, that is less than that being produced by China. However, in some major producing countries, cultivation of marine bivalves accounts for high percentage of total aquaculture production of aquatic animals, and that you will see in, I told you that it's not only Asia where these things are being done. New Zealand, 86.9%, France, 75.4% of their aquaculture, Spain, 74%, Republic of Korea, 69.7%, Italy, 61.6%, Japan, 51.8%, and a world average of 18.4%. That has been taken again from Sofia. Even Bangladesh, now people are looking, when inland aquaculture is not showing that potential of growth, and that is unable to maintain the pace of growth it showed earlier. So now people are shifting. Even Bangladesh, they are shifting towards mariculture, and they have identified several promising species for mariculture like Hilsa elisha. We all know that Hilsa is a very popular species and very species sold at a very high price. Sea bass, grey mullet, and various shrimp species in countries like Bangladesh also. Now, where do we stand? What we are doing in India? We know that because of the huge resources, marine resources, which can be utilized for marine fish production, we have strong potential to contribute through mariculture. Country's vast coastline and diverse marine ecosystems. In fact, we have very long coastline, if I remember correctly, more than 8,000 kilometers, and then we are having very large area of EEZ, exclusive economic zone, that can be utilized for this purpose. National policy on marine fisheries in PMF 2017 emphasizes the importance of mariculture. In fact, nowadays the government is having many of the schemes, many of the plans they are having for stakeholders, which is there to promote aquaculture in marine areas or boost production from these resources. In fact, if they emphasize in this policy document, they emphasize the mariculture's potential and its suitability to enhance fish production from coastal waters. In to promote mariculture, in fact, in India, there are many species which are being promoted for culture or for getting them adopted by entrepreneurs or businessmen or fish farmers, like cobia, sea bass, ornamental fishes, and many other fishes that you will find if you just go through the websites of. I earlier showed you that you please visit the websites which are dealing with particular aquaculture type, like or particular type of water, marine water or fresh water or brackish water. So CMFRI, SIBA, all these websites, if you visit, maybe NI Goa, and there are many universities and fisheries colleges in the coastal areas. They will provide you more information on what are different species for which these culture technologies are being standardized. Technological advancements such as sea cage farming and integrated multi-trophic aquaculture (IMTA) are enhancing production efficiency and sustainability. People are working on this, that how to make it sustainable, how to make it feasible, that people can adopt these culture technologies even in the oceanic regions. Capacity building for local fishers and entrepreneurs is also a key focus in the document. They need to train the people, the stakeholders, and provide them information and solve their query regarding mariculture and their challenges. Mariculture emerges as a crucial frontier, along India's, I was telling you, more than 8,000 kilometers of coastline, and EEZ is 2.3 million square kilometers. So we are having huge resources. We don't have any shortage of resources. Just we need to have the suitable technologies, identification of suitable regions, then developing suitable technologies, site location is specific, or site is specific, or region is specific, or you can say habitat is specific technologies, and then accordingly the type of species that should be cultivated or raised in that environment. Despite the significant mariculture production potential, we are having very much potential. How much? 4 to 8 million is possible quite easily if we start managing our resources. 4 to 8 million tons we can produce on an annual basis, but right now, according to a 2023 report, what we are producing? 0.1 million tons. That is not even 1 million ton. 0.1 million tons we are producing. So, but if you look on the brighter side, that so far we have exploited inland resources very well, and we are producing through inland aquaculture substantial quantity of freshwater organisms, aquatic organisms. But now we have the opportunity to grow aquaculture in marine areas also. If we work on this, if we promote our entrepreneurs, businessmen, fish farmers, and train them to undertake this entrepreneurship opportunity, then we can produce a large number of fish and other aquatic organisms from the marine environment. So, what we need to address in order to promote mariculture in India or in either place also, mariculture species prioritization. This thing is very important, that we should filter out the number of species which should be suitable for mariculture. In fact, according to the region where the coastline is going to be utilized for mariculture, we should provide a list of suitable species, most suitable species, like we have provided in case of inland fish farming. We have provided very good standardized culture technology of Indian major carps, their seed production, their raising, everything we have provided. A complete recipe is there which a farmer can go through and start culture practice. Here also we should act in a similar manner. We should provide a list of prioritized species, and we should have a complete protocol, complete recipe for that. So the farmers don't have to think that which fish or which species or which aquatic organism they have to start in their aquaculture practice. And that kind of support, the technological support, the financial support, the social support, the ecological support, all these support should be provided. Species prioritization is must, criteria for selection of species I explained in case of inland aquaculture earlier. Here also there should be certain criteria, certain guidelines. Many of them remain same. For example, they should be fetching good market price. Their marketability should not be any problem, and they should show good growth rate. They should be very hardy, right? So they should accept food easily, the artificial food if you are offering, or all these kind of things you will have to document, and specifically, very clearly, you will have to spell out the species, that okay, this is species for this region, this is species for this region, and this is species for this type of culture. So what type of species for cage culture, what type of species for coastal ponds, what type of species in other such water bodies where mariculture can be done. Development of hatchery technologies. Seed supply is one of the main hindrances to start any fish culture or aquaculture activity. So this should be addressed very scientifically and very efficiently. In fact, the induced breeding programs or hatchery technologies related to any particular species should be standardized in such a way that any person with little information or little training can do the seed production of the target fish species. Again, I will cite the example of Indian major carps. Our researchers, our government did excellent thing by popularizing the induced breeding program of Indian major carps in such a way that many farmers who are not very literate, they also carry out induced breeding programs of Indian major carps and getting good production. So that kind of thing, or if at least some centers from where the fish seeds or aquatic species seeds can be obtained, or you can say to start their aquaculture, they should be getting the young ones very easily. So that kind of support is needed here. Scaling up grow out technologies, we should come up with different kind of technologies in order to intensify the practice and overall make it sustainable and economically viable. Identifying potential sites for mariculture. And in fact, this should be the most important point, that we you just cannot say the people that okay, you can go and start wherever you want. The government should or policymakers or the agencies which are involved in these activities, they should come forward and provide information on that along the coastline, what are the regions which have immense potential for undertaking the mariculture activities. And you can offer some kind of assistance to stakeholders. If you come up with this kind of program, if you want to start this program here, then we can have, government is already having such kind of arrangements, but that should be popularized and people should be made aware of this.